Hey YouTube, it's just Brandy and let's talk Black Ink Crew. So on last night's episode of Black Ink Crew, it started with the conversation between Donna and Alex about his spinal injury and how the doctor recommended that tattooing may not be the best profession for him because it may put too much stress on his spine. We did not see that conversation between him and the doctor. Now, when he went to the emergency room, that was filmed, but this particular conversation with the doctor to show that that actually was valid and that is what was said, we did not receive. So we don't know what actually the doctor said regarding his ability to tattoo and what they stated, because the only reason that I would think that, you know, if they're saying he can't sit for long periods of time because they could tattoo for many hours at one time, you can work an 8 to 5 in an office and sit for 8 hours. So are they saying that he needs a type of job where he doesn't sit for long? You know, what are the conditions of tattooing that they are saying is not healthy for you? You know, we didn't get that type of detail. So Donna decides that the best thing to do for to retaliate against Caesar and Black Ink is to go after him financially. So she tells Alex that they should sue him. So he didn't go press charges and go file a police report and say, you know, I've been physically assaulted. They want to file a civil suit to get money, which in a criminal suit, you have to prove a lot more than you do in a civil suit. Just like with OJ, they lost the criminal lawsuit, but the family won the civil suit, which is why he owes them millions of dollars for like wrongful death. So, you know, he's like, well, you know, I'm from the streets or whatever, and we don't really snitch. That's like snitching, but he didn't hesitate to go do it. So now you want to sue him. But my thing is, I still don't believe that he can say that this particular back injury was caused from that altercation. Yes, you have video proof from VH1, but how can you say that you did not have damage to your back area prior to that incident? I just don't believe that that 30-second incident would have caused so much damage that, you know, this would be the case. It could have been previous damage, and then this was the straw that broke the camel's back. But I just don't believe that that particular incident would have caused this much damage. So that's what was going on with them. The previous episode, they were having a party because Walt needed some money to get a down payment for an apartment so his kids could come stay with him. So they find out that they only sold like 18 calendars at $20 a piece, like as far as the pre-sale. So they only made like $300. He needs like $6,000. So Caesar's bright idea was to go to Atlantic City, I believe, and go to the casino to try to make this money. So I thought that the whole episode was going to be about that. We didn't get to the casino to the very end. So we find out that Sky has had some issues with her son regarding his father. So I guess her youngest son, Des, we saw the episode, the first episode, where the father showed up and they had that altercation, and Sky didn't give the father the information. Well, what we didn't know at the time is that Des wants to meet his father. You know, he didn't just want to only meet his mother. I guess he wants to meet his father as well and possibly establish a relationship with him. So he was looking to Sky to provide that information to either him or to his father so that they could get in contact with each other. So because of the altercation that Sky had with the father, she didn't give the information. So Des was upset because, you know, he's 18. She doesn't get to determine if he gets to meet his father and what that relationship is, regardless of what her relationship is and if she likes him or not, she doesn't get to make that decision. So her withholding that information from him, preventing them to have a relationship, she doesn't really have that right. Regardless if she think it's right or wrong, that's still the person you chose to have a baby with. That's still biologically his father. He wants to meet him and make that decision for himself. So he got upset with her, and I guess they got into it, and she said some things that she shouldn't have said. We don't know what those things were, but she was telling her friend Allison when she was down in Miami checking on her store. So she's a hothead, just like that oldest son. She's a hothead. She's one of those people that reacts now and thinks later, and that is very dangerous. That's how you get in a lot of trouble. Not thinking before you act, not thinking before you speak. And she's too old, and she should have a higher level of maturity than that. You've got to be able to control yourself. You've got to be able to, use your brain and not react to situations. You got to be able to, to be able to control the situation and control yourself, have some self-control. So that was that's Sky. So she won't be going to the whole trip. Young Bae's mother started working in the shop as the receptionist. She don't speak a lick of English besides little catchphrases like okay, and like she can say stuff, but she don't understand English. She don't speak a lick of English. So she was there, and Kitty had the bright idea that her mother needs to start dating. She needs to find her a man, and she wants to be the one to find her a date. So I guess we'll be seeing that in the upcoming episode, where Kitty finds Mama Bae a man, and she goes on a date, and I'm sure it'll be somebody who speaks only English and she speaks only Korean, so they won't be able to communicate with each other. So that'll be interesting. Finally, the crew makes it to Atlantic City, and we see that Teddy and Tati I think is the body painter girl, or is Tati anyway, Teddy and his I think her name is Tati. Anyway, Teddy and his little boo are having issues ever since the previous episode, where he felt like she didn't have his back. She wasn't a ride or die. So that has continued to spill over, because he's still mad. They really ain't speaking, and she don't know what to do. So she done took this stance that, we gonna work through this regardless. Like, no, if it ain't working, it ain't working. If y'all figure out that y'all ain't compatible, y'all ain't compatible. So you should have did your research on this Negro. So they basically end up in an argument, and she asked him if he had sex with the new girl, because she finds out that he was having a conversation with her. So now you accusing him of cheating, and he's like, I've done everything I possibly could. Like, we even had a little marriage ceremony. Like, what else do you want me to do to prove that I want to be with you or whatever? So obviously now you got trust issues. That's a recipe for disaster. That's the end right there. You got trust issues. You might as well call it a wrap. So finally Teddy gets fed up, and he says it's over. So they say it's over. I don't know. And see, now you done created a messed up work environment, because you in the shop every day, this person in the shop every day, and now y'all was together, but y'all not no more. So now y'all gonna have to deal, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you shouldn't date the people that you work with. But they are in Atlantic City. Everybody's playing, and they're keeping a tally of how much people are winning, because I guess everybody's trying to win for Walt. They ain't made very much money. But Caesar had an issue when he got there. He was saying he didn't feel good. They end up calling the squad. I don't know what was wrong with him, but he is at the hospital. So we'll see if he shows up next episode. But that's my recap of Black Ink Crew. I will see you next week for my next one.